Top of the morning to ya.
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday, or as our friend Philip Torkington would say, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if you say it like that. You guys, I know you make fun of Bing. I know you make fun of Bing on the regular because, I mean, who doesn't? It's Bing, right?
It's Bing.
It's freaking Bing. But Bing is going to be the first search engine powered by OpenAI. So you will be able to download it for Chrome and Safari. I thought it was interesting that since Microsoft abandoned Internet Explorer and basically built Edge off of Google Chrome or Chromium, now they're trying to siphon the Google search traffic to themselves now.
The industry. It's like I work at the factory.
Well, I mean, you could say that. Speaking of trying to fit in, you're gonna have to.
We're all just trying to fit in.
You're gonna have to change your Twitter account because it's gonna become X. However, it may not have been thought out properly because Meta and Microsoft own the rights to the letter X in the ways that they can. A lawyer indicates there is a 100% chance Twitter will get sued from changing its name.
I deleted Twitter off my phone yesterday, so my time with Twitter is done. Although I technically still have my account because I didn't deactivate it because I couldn't remember my password, which shows how little I care about it.
Microsoft owned the X trademark since 2003 because of Xbox, which, you know, makes sense. The Meta platform owns it since 2019, and it's apparently a blue and white letter X that denotes fields including software and social media. The other thing is the X itself is apparently suspiciously close to what's referred to as the Unicode X, which is unpatentable. So, like,
don't they also call this child X?
X
something
73 letters of pi or something. In an effort for them to try and make this go through faster, they didn't pull any permits to start taking the Twitter logo off of the building.
So here's my thoughts. He probably didn't even know that he needed a permit for it.
Well, there's like 7 people that work there.
Yeah, exactly. They have a skeleton crew. I guarantee no one told him, and he probably didn't think about it because he's not somebody that thinks about that kind of stuff. Like, you know, when you're so rich, you don't think about normal everyday things.
Yeah, like I can park here because I just get a ticket to pay. But so originally they didn't call in a permit to start taking down the sign, so the city came by and said, "Well, what the hell are you doing? You don't have a permit to have this vehicle blocking traffic or on the sidewalk while you do this." And so then they basically said, "Too bad, we're taking it off." They managed to get the letters E and R off by the time the police showed up and said, "Shut it down. You can't do this without the proper things in place." And the sign people started saying, "Well, we kind of have to take it off because now you made us come down and there's bare electrical wires hanging out to light up Twitter." And so as of right now, they had to stop taking down the Twitter logo. I don't know if you guys seen that, but there's people that are acting like NPC characters on TikTok. Like,
so good. Pop, 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 pop.
Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. Oh,
ice cream so good.
Pop, 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 pop.
Pop, pop. Ice cream so good.
It's fucking insane. They do it for like 6 hours straight.
I wish I could
and
do
make
the pop sound
thousands of dollars in a stream. We're sitting here racking our brains. How could Elon Musk be the way he is? Well, it may be genetic. It could be genetic because his brother, who apparently, I don't know all of the history, but has had several failed ventures, including solar panels and stuff. He started a vertical farming startup back in 2016. But he just all of a sudden, it was, as this person says, it was a very normal day at the startup in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We were in the middle of production and everyone received an email and a Slack, which Slack, I believe, is
I think it's like an internal
workflow
messaging
thing, yeah.
isn't it?
Saying essentially drop everything and attend the Zoom call. There was really no context why it was happening, and so suddenly, and everyone was kind of shocked. As the report notes, the company that offered high-tech indoor vertical farming modules had, until last week, locations in Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Kentucky, and earlier this year shuttered its Brooklyn, New York flagship. Oh. But I can just tell.
Look at that cat.
See, that was just perfect.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
I'm so happy that we saw Carl this morning. Oh, Jinjee.
Do you want a pillow, my friend?
No, he's fine.
He doesn't look comfy. We need to know how to have sex in space.
But I don't think we, like...
As far... So this...
Astrosexology?
Yes. So, no one has ever had sex in space, but that could change. Space sexology, or astrosexology, is a growing field that studies sex in space.
Jason, if anime has taught me anything over the course of my 36 years of life, it's that you can create gravity in space by just making a big space colony that's a circle and turns around. If you've ever watched Gundam Wing, you know this to be true.
Yeah, Jason.
True physics.
So researchers say that studying sex in the stars is critical for human health and happiness. So where this comes from is, again, the reason it's interesting is because it's not like having sex in the space station. It's having sex in space. So when you think about that, you think, why? Because the logistical challenges of you being in a spacesuit and me being in a spacesuit and us trying to link up.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Without creating like a vacuum of death.
Why would you be concerned about that? It would be more so like about doing it on the space station, I would think, because that's fucking stupid. This is stupid.
So that is kind of what...
It's literally fucking stupid.
It's literally fucking stupid. What I thought...
Or stupid fucking.
So... There was a couple things about this that I found interesting. One of which was a lack of gravity could affect the physiology of sex. There's evidence that some people with penises are still able to get erections in space, but the changes in the environment could create additional challenges with the arousal.
Okay, no, I just had an idea. Okay, so you know how baby whales feed the milk off their mother? Like the mother basically ejects the milk into the water and it's thick and viscous enough that the baby whales are able to just drink the milk as it like floats around in the water. Maybe that's what you do with the semen. You just like eject it into the space and then you just...
So this has actually been solved. The problem's been solved.
Okay.
And NASA's on board.
You just like kind of take a handful and...
It's called the two-suit.
Oh.
It's called the two-suit, as you can see by this high-def...
But why having to do it in the void of space?
As you can see by this high-def rendering of exactly what it would look like with two people in space. It would have something to do with... And this is like official. This is Vana Bonta, the concept garment. Includes Velcro strips, zippers, and a diaphanous inner material that would be designed for intimacy in the near weightless environment of space. We literally haven't even gotten to like the frontiers of space, and the previous article was trying to figure out what size should the toys be that are taken. Like, it's...
Like, I wouldn't want to try to have sex in the void of space. I'm sorry. Maybe it's also because I just have, like, existential dread about, like, I can't bring myself to watch the movie Gravity. I just see the trailer where Sandra Bullock is, like, floating off into, like, space, like, with no tether, and I can't. I can't.
What is wrong with these people?
Like, so, if I'm gonna be in space, I'd rather do it on the space station. I'm not gonna do it outside in the fucking void of space.
So, however, off-Earth romantics will have to cope with some practical challenges. Sex in space would likely be hotter and wetter than on Earth. Because 0G, there is no natural convection to carry away body heat. Also, scientists have found that people tend to perspire more in microgravity. The moisture associated with sexual congress could pool as floating droplets.
The space station still has no gravity, so it's the same problem whether you're inside or outside.
The physics of 0G make the mechanics of sex more complicated. It was challenging to even kiss her husband on a 0G simulation flight they took recently. You have to struggle to connect and stay connected, she recalled. Partners would have to be anchored to the wall and or each other to address that need.
Simple solution, sex swings.
Actually, she's come up with her own design for garments equipped with strategically placed Velcro strips and zippers.
I don't want Velcro.
Scene created in MS Paint above. Can you imagine being so horny in space that you are willing to potentially, risk dying?
I have heard about, they don't understand how the body would be able to carry pregnancy to term because there's no gravity. But I don't think that there's much of an issue with the sexual congress.
We've reached the most pivotal problem in the whole thing, though. Although 0G could be a boon for saggy body parts, Bonta says males might notice a slight decrease in penis size due to the low blood pressure that humans experience in microgravity. Unacceptable.
So handcuffs and
unacceptable conditions. Absolutely unacceptable. You can't have sex in space now because it will affect men negatively.
Logan said spontaneous sex in space could be a little underwhelming.
Romantics will also need to...
Unacceptable condition! Unacceptable!
What? Romantics will also need to guard against the type of motion sickness that space travelers often encounter, especially if they get too adventurous right off. Save the acrobatics for post-play and foreplay, Bonta advised. What are you talking about? Oh my god. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson made the largest single donation to the relief fund for SAG-AFTRA.
Good for him.
Which, it doesn't say how much it was. The exact sum was kept under wraps, but it's said to be the largest, potentially 7-figure ranged single largest donation for an individual at one time. The Rock is an interesting dude. We watched a thing about how he, where he came from to how he got into, he was an athlete growing up. He actually played for the Calgary Stampeders. Then he got cut from football. He got into pro wrestling, as most people know. He got into movies. He actually made his own production studio that specifically makes movies for him to star in that they pitch companies for an easy win. So that latest Jungle Cruise movie and all that crap, his company makes those movies for him, which is kind of weird. But also the Black Adam movie, I guess he really wanted to be a superhero, and so I felt that was a little maybe conceited, but obviously, if you're gonna look out for the industry that looked out for you, that's quite a nice thing for him to do. And this is just kind of what they would be able to dip into while they're on strike, right? His best match was against Stone Cold Steve Austin in WrestleMania 17 back in April 2001. Black Adam was already in the work. He had it rewritten, so he was... Oh, yes, that's what it was. Sorry. His contract stipulated that he can't be the bad guy. Yeah, just little things I thought were a little weird. He's kind of putting himself in a box, instead of, pursuing acting roles that might be outside. Well, I guess it just depends what he wants, right?
Yeah.
If he
I
wants,
have heard a lot of actors say though that playing
He's
the
the
villain
nicest.
is the fun one.
yeah, it was such a weird article. I actually said to Krissy yesterday, like, I don't know if this is too weird to just kind of bring up. So, Sam Bankman-Fried of that FTX cryptocurrency situation, that, largest scam ever thing. Well, he has a brother. And his brother's plan to do with his money was to buy the island nation of Nauru with the FTX funds to build an apocalypse bunker. So, that's all fine and good, right? Just he wants to build an apocalypse bunker on his own island, like I'm sure exists in, other people have done it. Don't the Mormons own a whole mountain somewhere full of,
I think so.
Full of like all
the Mormons
of the...
own more land than any other like religion ever.
Yeah. So the big thing was that he isn't like he had some interests outside of what would be deemed normal.
Oh,
so
like...
there's like Epstein and stuff like that, like talking to geneticists and all that stuff. So there was things like in the lawsuit they indicated that he had certain projects that were deemed frequently misguided and sometimes dystopian. Like a $30,000 grant to an individual to write a book about how to figure out humans' utility functions. Another $400,000 grant went to an entity that produced animated videos for YouTube about effective altruism, a philosophical movement popular among the FTX executives that seeks to maximize social impact through charitable giving and other lifestyle choices.
I mean, that's not bad, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to speak to what altruism indicates. So,
like, being altruistic is inherently a good thing, but I think the way that he planned to use it was not good.
So, in the lawsuit, it also says about the island, the lawyers cite a memo between Gabe and an officer of the FTX Foundation, I'd assume just someone of their legal setup, where he describes his plan to purchase Nauru, the tiny nation island in Micronesia. With the goal, according to the memo, would be to build a bunker that could be used in the event that 50% to 99.99% of people die, with the aim of ensuring that most EAs, or effective altruists, can survive, as well as to develop sensible regulation around human genetic enhancement and to build a lab there. Probably there are other things too it's useful to do with a sovereign country too, the memo also notes.
So basically the people who would get access would be the ones who donated the most money, basically paid it the most into this program to be saved from like whatever apocalyptic scenario they're posing.
Yeah, not only did you get yourself involved in a crypto scheme, you are like part of a cult, like becoming a part of a religious cult-like environment with doomsday prophecies.